Hi everybody, welcome to Bead Sisters. I'm Kay and I'm so glad you're here. Did you bring a blanket, by the way? Because it's a little chilly. I don't know why I'm so cold today. It's actually a little warmer than it has been. It's, I think, in the low 50s. It was low 20s here this morning, but I've just kind of gotten chilled today. I don't know what it is. So I'm drinking from the cup that I got in Savannah. If I could remember the name, I would tell you. Does it say? Is it Molly? Was that her name? Molly Cusick, I think. I think it's Molly Cusick. And so I don't usually drink coffee in the afternoon, but I just wanted something warm. I was going to look at the clock that is not working, if you will recall. So I'm just sort of rambling right now. Today is one of those days. I was going to record yesterday and the house was just too busy. There were too many people coming and going and doing stuff yesterday. It was just family here and kids talking and visiting and working on stuff, and I just decided today was a better day. Yesterday morning we took Bentley to the vet. It was just for his annual checkup. He's had something going on with his eye for a few weeks, so we got some medicine for that. And then he obviously was very disappointed in us. He wasn't mad, just disappointed. We put his little jacket on him and he took off. He was so excited to get in the car and go on an adventure, and then he just looked so betrayed when it was the vet. So Janie and I worked together and she said, we could get him a little pup cup at Starbucks. And there happened to be one not too far from where we were. And it was on our way back at least. So we stopped and we got drinks and we got a little pup cup, which, if you're not familiar, it's just a cup of whipped cream. And they'll generally, I think, give it to you for free if you buy it, if you are buying a drink. So we gave him that and he loved it. I'll try to remember to put in a video of him enjoying that. And then I needed to stop by the bank. So I did that and they gave him a little treat, like a little dog biscuit in the canister when they sent it back over to me. And he thought that was the greatest thing ever. He had a little treat. And then I had to stop by the grocery store. And I stopped by, left Janie and Bentley in the car. I went in for a few minutes, got what I needed, came back out. He is jumping up like, what's the treat here? I'm like, oh, sorry, buddy. Didn't get you anything here. But I think he forgave us because we got him treats. I am trying to remember not to do this so that you don't get glare from the light. So I'm just going to apologize now for when I do this, because I have bifocals, and if I need to focus on something, looking straight on, it's just not going to work. Anybody else? Bifocals? I looked at some of my Google Analytics, and I know not everybody shares things like gender and age and that kind of thing for their profile. But of the ones who did, at least a large majority of you understand the bifocals, I'm just going to say, in our demographic. So how's it going? Is it cold where you are? It's cold in so much of the US, and it's going to be even colder, I think, over the weekend. I think our temperatures are dropping again. We're looking at temperatures in the mid to low teens here over the weekend. So we got to do stuff to make sure animals are okay. They're generally pretty okay. Our porch cat has a little heated shelter that's on the porch, so it's protected from the weather, but it actually has a sort of like a heating pad in it, and it's designed for this. I didn't just buy a regular heating pad and stick it out there. It's designed for being a little outdoor shelter for animals. So she's got a warm place that she can go. I checked it to make sure it was getting warm. And our Pyrenees don't care. It'd have to get a lot colder for it to bother the Pyrenees. They're fine. The chickens have a coop, and the goats have each other and some shelter. Their shelter actually needs work. It was damaged in the storm. All of that is what's going on around here. So what do you have to do? Do you have any particular things you have to do for cold weather? Like, do you have to protect against pipes freezing? Or do you have to plug in your car so that it stays warm enough to be able to crank it? I know that can be a problem when it gets super cold. So anyway, I'm just curious. That's the stuff we have to do around here. It's not too extensive. And most days in South Carolina, even if we're in the teens, every now and then we get to single digits here. It doesn't happen all that much, but it does happen. But we almost always get above freezing. So even if we start out at like 12 degrees, the vast majority of the time we will get above freezing by afternoon. Think of it as if you live where it gets super cold in the winter, think about what it's like where you live, say in late March to April, how it might get cold, but then it heats up pretty well during the day. Or if you get snow, it melts really fast because of the angle of the sun. That's us in the middle of winter. I don't have a ton of knitting stuff. I have not finished anything since last week, but I have worked on a couple of things. First is the retreat project that I talked about last week. I think I'm on the 14th chain, I think. And these colors are so pretty. It was just a collection of fairly random leftovers. But when I say random, not completely, because they are somewhat color coordinated. I would call these fall kind of colors. So we've got some purples and oranges, some kind of blues and gray. But I think they're working very nicely together. I've gotten some cool suggestions from last week. Somebody suggested making it as a garland. You could do that for Christmas. I love that idea. It would be a fun Advent project too if you had just tiny scraps. That would be a really easy thing to keep up with during each day of December. It really only takes a few minutes. I don't know if I described before what you do. I can't think how you could do this on anything but 9-inch circs. I mean, I guess it's possible, like magic loop. I don't think you could do double points, not easily, just because this has to turn as you work, and so the rest of the chain has to be able to go all the way around your active, what am I looking for? Your like live stitches on the needle. But, and if you absolutely cannot bring yourself to use short circs, this might be just too maddening of a project. But yeah, I think that would be a really cute project because you only cast on like 35 stitches and you do just a few rounds, less than 10 rounds, to create this little loop. And it's just like cast on and knit and then bind it off. So it curls in on itself. You just have to weave in ends, or at least tuck them in. It's not going to take a lot of abuse. Like it's not like a neck or a cuff or something that's you're going to be tugging on. So yeah, and I have one that I think I must have cast on extra stitches because this one is bigger. I don't know. I figure when I'm wearing it, because you make it long enough to loop around twice, I don't think anybody's going to notice. So anyway, let me tell you again what it's called. I'll have to look. The Chain Gang Neck Wrap by Sue Ellen Holmes. I will see if that is available on Ravelry or somewhere now. It was our retreat project. And one of my little tails is getting out of hand. But yeah, fun project. I like the idea of a Christmas garland. You could do it in just whatever your favorite colors are. You could do red and green. You could do green and gold, or red and gold, blues and silvery grays and whites. That would be really pretty. So some combination of holiday colors would just be a really neat garland. So I love that idea. Okay, the other thing that I've worked on some, I'll show you. I've got a needle minder from the retreat, the Rewind Retreat 2024 winter, and it's got a magnet. So I've got a tapestry needle in here. You could put it on the other side, I think, or not. It tends to fall off right there. So it's going on. It sticks really nicely to the magnet back there. All right. This is sock 2 of another one for the road. I am almost through gusset decreases on sock 2. Actually, I was working on this at church last night. our Wednesday nights are more casual these days. We're bringing food. We did a potluck kind of chili night last night. And then we sit around tables and people get up and get more food and get refilled their drinks and that kind of stuff while we're having our Bible study. So it's a lot more casual than we've had in the past. So I figure if we're being casual, I'm less distracting knitting than jumping up to get drinks. So I'm not going to worry about it. All right, you can see kind of where I am. I think I've got 2 or 3 more decreases to do, and then I'll just be finishing the foot. The yarn is Hypnotic Yarn, the Christmas Eve cast on colorway. And I think that's just what it's called. I don't think it has another name. Oh, yes, it does. Vintage Ornaments. You can see that okay. Really, really pretty. I have enjoyed the sock pattern, which is by Corinne Walter, as well as the yarn. It's been really fun knitting that up with the little blips in it. All right, one more thing that I have been working on in my project bag from Rainstorm Studios. Christine, I think this is my favorite. I've got a couple of bags from her, three at least. But it says, "Where you been? This project won't make itself." Yes, Judgy Sheep does not approve of your shenanigans. I don't know if she has any more like this or not, but as soon as I saw this at probably Into the Wool a few years ago, I knew I wanted that one. I think I even told her, I said, if that makes it through the day, I want it. I think she actually set it aside for me because Christine is very nice. Okay, this is from Knitvent. This is Helen Stewart. And I started this back, I think, in November, probably. It is called the Turkish Delight Shawl. It is garter rose and lace rose. And I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about the lace in this yarn. That's totally on me. But I actually kind of like that it's a little bit rustic. But I think it's going to show off that lace really nicely once it's blocked. I mean, it's not bad now, but I think blocked, that's just going to be super pretty. And the yarn is from the Fiber Co. Erin Moore Light. And let's see, I think it has a colorway name. River-esque. And I'm really happy with this one. Like I said, you have just the garter rose with, there's increases, but then this really nice lace. And I think there's 4 sections of the lace, and I've done 2, and I'm just about ready to start the 4th one. I think my next row will start the 3rd lace section. So again, in my Rainstorm Studios bag. The other thing I've been working on a little bit, although it's been kind of busy with other stuff, I have been working on stuff for vendor markets. I was a vendor at the retreat that I just went to, and I'm going to be a vendor in Greenville for the Knit In. That's coming up in just a couple of weeks. So I've restocked the Christmas sock set. This is designed to make the Festive Mistletoe Socks by Anna Juti, I think is her name. This is sport. The pattern itself calls for a fingering, but it's a really heavy fingering weight. And I made mine out of, this is my sport weight, my Aiken Sport base, and it worked great. I'm very pleased with it. So that I've restocked that. I don't think this was out, but I've added some of this. This is Red Velvet Cake with a full skein plus a 20-gram mini that's speckled in the same color. What else? Oh, and the Blueberry Muffin is the other set. This actually sold out at SAF, so I've dyed some more of these. I've got a few of these left. And this one will be new. This is not listed on the website yet. But this is my Valentine colorway. So there's a full skein plus a 20 gram mini. And these will be available at the Knit In. And then after that, if I still have some, then they'll be available on the website. I don't have a name for that yet. I'm not sure what to call it. If I actually want to give it a Valentine name or something else. If you have any suggestions, let me know. I just realized I didn't plug in my microphone. Can you hear me? Let's see what happens if I put it in now. I don't think I'm going to re-record. Okay, I'm going to jiggle the thing a little bit, so just so you're aware. Okay. Is that better? Can you tell a difference? I don't know if it makes that much difference in this kind of setting. This I made for our Lake Greenwood retreat, but I still have some of these. I don't think these are listed yet. I need to get these listed online. But isn't that cute? Little beavers, little mommy beaver, little baby with their knitwear. And look at that little duck with the hat. And then we have a goose, I think, with a scarf. That is cute. So I have some of these. I think I have maybe 5 or 6 of these. And also coming up for the Knit In, let me grab my fabric for that. More pink. So this one is specifically for the Knit In. It's not specially designed for that, but it is a Valentine print that I ordered that'll be ready for the first time there. And I've got a polka dot print to go with it. So it's yarn and knitting needles through a heart. I think that's going to look pretty fabulous together. Are you going to be there? I've never been to this, so I'm really interested in how that's going to go. Depending on how much time I have, excuse me, for sewing between now and then, I've got some other fabrics to use. I have a bag made from this fabric, which I need to pull out actually. This is the time of year. It's got, trucks, little farm trucks have been a big deal for a few years, but I think this is a really sweet Valentine version of that. I have this, and this is actually fabric that's been in my stash for a while. So it's like vintage postcard sort of things. It says love and love you. It's all about love. So yeah, I think that will be a fun bag. These will probably end up being drawstring bags. And then this one is like tea, fancy tea stuff. Maybe coffee too, I can't remember. No, it just says flowers. And then I've got a coordinating fabric I think that'll look pretty good with that. Looks okay with that. Nice with this. This would work with that polka dot too, I think. And then this one. So keep an eye out for those. I hopefully will have some of that done and listed next week. The Knit In starts in 2 weeks. Well, I am going to finish my coffee. I'm going to hopefully get some sewing done this afternoon. And my husband called a little while ago and asked me out for dinner tonight. I'm going to see if my kids want to eat leftover chili that I brought home from church last night and maybe hang out while Andy and I go out for dinner. Well, I hope that you're having a good January, that you are comfy and cozy where you are. If you're where it's cold, stay warm. And if you are where it's warm, I hope that you are comfortable. And we'll chat again soon.